In the last lesson, we learned how to construct a C major triad by numbering each degree of the scale and playing the first, third, and fifth degree, C, E, and G, simultaneously. Then we went through the inversions, or the different positions for C major. Root position, first inversion, and second inversion, demonstrating how you can change the order of the notes and the identity of the chord stays the same. Now, if you play a C major chord, let's just stay in root position, take the third degree, which is E, right? C is 1, 2, 3, and move it down a half step. Or when you lower a note in a chord or a scale, we use the term flat as a verb. So you flat the third. So E becomes E flat. Now you have C, E flat, G, or 1 flat 3, 5. And that's a C minor triad. So a minor triad is simply a major triad with a flatted third. The term major and minor defines what we call the quality of the chord. Each chord quality has a distinct sound. Listen as I go back and forth between C major and C minor. So here's C major, and here's C minor. Major chords are generally thought of as having a happy or uplifting sound. And minor chords are thought to have a sad or kind of a depressed sound. So let's figure out the three closed positions for C minor, the three inversions in a closed position. Remember, closed means the notes are as close together as possible. So first we have root position, C, E flat, G. Now let's go to first inversion. So we want E flat as our lowest note, so E flat, then find the nearest G, and then the nearest C. That's first inversion. And then second inversion, we have G as the lowest note, then C, and E flat up here. So root position, C minor triad, first inversion, and second inversion. Let's learn some more intervals now. If you remember in lesson 2, we learned half steps and whole steps, right? Half step, whole step. These intervals actually have another name. A half step is also called a minor second. And a whole step is called a major second. It's just a different name. It's the same interval. So minor second, major second. We use the word second because they're two notes apart. C is 1, right, and D is 2, or D flat is 2. So C to D flat is a minor second, and C to D is a major second. For now, we're going to be playing intervals starting on C only. So what do you think the interval from C to E is called? It's a major third. That's easy to remember, right? Because in a C major scale, E is the third degree of the major scale, so it's called the major third. And it's also the third in a C major chord. C is the one, or the first, E is the third, and G is the fifth. How about C to E flat? That's called a minor third. And that's easy to remember too, right? Because in a C minor chord, E flat is the third of the chord, right? Because E is the major third, and then you flat it, so E flat is the minor third. So C to E flat is a minor third interval, and C to E is a major third interval. So here's a great example of something I mentioned in lesson 2. I said that the name you use for a black key, either sharp or flat, depends on the context. Well, in this case of C minor, this note is called E flat, and it's not called D sharp, right? E flat, here's D, you could call this D sharp, but not in the case of C minor. That's because the definition of a minor triad is that it contains the first degree the flat third degree and the fifth degree of the major scale. It's not the first degree, the sharp 2, and the 5, right? If it were sharp 2, then we would call it D sharp. But since we're defining the chord as flat 3, we call this note E flat. Okay, so we've gone up to the major third. We have minor second, major second, minor third, major third. Now C to F is called a perfect fourth. I'll explain why it's called perfect in the next lesson, but F is the fourth degree of the C major scale, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's easy to remember. Similarly, C to G is called a perfect fifth. And of course, G is the fifth degree of the C major scale. C is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Practice these intervals starting on C. First, review the C major scale, then form a C major triad in root position. Play through its inversions, right? Then form a C minor triad in root position. 1, here's the major third, now flat the third, so E flat, C, E flat, G, and play through its inversions. First inversion, second inversion. Then practice these intervals starting on C. Start with the intervals that are present in the C major scale. So start with C to D, a major second, and sing it. C, D, then C, E, which is a major third, and sing it. C, E, then C to F, C, F, which is a perfect fourth, and then C to G, a perfect fifth. C, G. Now play these intervals from smallest to largest. So now you're going to include the intervals that are not in the C major scale. So start with the smallest, which is of course a minor second, or a half step. So C, C sharp, or C, D flat, minor second, no, major second, or a whole step, C, D, and now minor third, C, E flat, and now major third, C, E, and now perfect fourth, C, F, and now perfect fifth, C, G. Then test yourself, always starting on C. So you can choose an interval. So start on C and say, I'm going to sing a major third. C, E. Now let's see if I got it. Yep. Now I'm going to sing a minor second. C, D flat. Now I'm going to sing a major second. C, D. Now I'll sing a perfect fifth. C, G. Don't worry if you can't get all of these intervals right now. You can keep repeating this part of the video and practicing.